Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to A Drink with Crazy. What's going on, everybody? My camera is messed up. It is like tracking, and I don't know what is going on with that. I am so sorry. What's going on, everybody? I'm going to have to figure that out. I might have to unplug the camera and replug the camera back in. This is really bad. But yeah, moved my computer, and ever since I moved my computer, it's not been doing good. What's going on? We got Tianda and got to play again early. It's good to see you guys. Merry Christmas, everybody. Guys, I will not be, despite what the little ticker on the bottom of the screen says, I will not be streaming this Thursday because it's Christmas. I'm going to be with family. So I hope all of you guys have. Lighting is still bright. I tried to adjust the lighting, and my lights that I have go from way too bright to stupid dark. There's they'll slowly adjust, and then they're like, poof. And it's like, what, why? I don't know. But they're cheaper lights, which, it makes sense. You get what you pay for. I could attempt, like I said, I sit here and I try to adjust it, and it just never works out. I don't know. What's going on, Mario Trujillo? Nice sword. That is actually, my buddy bought that for me as a gift, as is most of the stuff back here are gifts from people that I've gotten. That is actually, come on, Brain, King of Rohan, Lord of the Rings. No, Brain, don't do this to me right now. Oh, the nerds are gonna be so mad. Come on. Where is it? Where is it? Theoden. My goodness. You ever do that? Do you guys ever do that? You have the thing on the tip of your tongue, and then you go to say it, and you're just like, Brain, why are you doing this? And your brain's just over here like, I don't know what you're talking about. You're like, Brain, you knew what I was talking about before I said it. And it's like, no, I didn't. It's Theoden's sword. My buddy was at a pawn shop and found the actual, that is a licensed Lord of the Rings replica. And he ended up getting it for a really stupid good price. He got it for a really good, I expect it, he got it for way less money than I thought he paid for it. And he got it for me. So yes, that is Theoden's sword back here that my buddy got me. This is an actual Lord of the Rings replica. It's stamped. Obviously, it doesn't have the plaque and stuff, but it was at a pawn shop. So yes. It's okay to use your phone in times of massive brain farts. Yeah, but that doesn't look good on camera, though. When you're like, hold on, guys, and then you just sit here in silence for a second. One of the things that I try to do in the streams, I heard years ago, so radio, like AM, FM radio, when specific, and I heard this on an AM talk show years ago, but if there is more than 6 seconds of silence, they have an automatic thing that'll play to break the silence up, because supposedly if there's more than 6 seconds of silence, people lose interest. And these are studies going way back in the day. So I do try to kind of follow that rule. I try to make sure that there's not that much silence, because it has to do with attention and people. And it's just something that I learned, something that I picked up. And so if you ever wonder, oh, wow, why doesn't Royce take so many breaks? It's well, there's kind of a reason for that. So I try not to do stuff like that. And not only that, but it's way more entertaining for me to say a thing that I know, and then I just totally brain space it instead of being wait, and then there's silence. And then I search. And then I go, oh, yes, by the way, this thing that I should know. Because it's much more, I find it more entertaining for me to be like, why can't I remember this thing? What's wrong with me? But anyway, I hope the audio was good. I will try to lower the brightness next time. It's ridiculous. I tried turning these lights down. It's bright. But again, I step it down, it's still too bright, and then it's and then it's just dark, and I'm just like, oh, Oh, that's cool. Must have dopamine, never silence. It's so true. For all of the stuff that people give YouTubers crap for and streamers crap for what they do, you can see God, my camera is tracking so weird. I need to figure out what's going on with that. That's really bad. That is really bad. I wonder, I was testing out using one of my action cameras to try to get like a dual kind of camera setup going. Yeah, that's not good. This camera's never done that. Okay. Well, we're going to suffer through it tonight. Hopefully it's okay. Oh my goodness. I don't like that. I didn't know until I went live. Anyway, moving on. This stream is trippy, right? Anyway, I've got a lot of stories pulled up tonight that are a couple of them play into each other. A couple of them are really weird. So trippy with crazy, right? Where is trippy? But before we get into that, as always, if you guys have anybody who's in your thoughts and your prayers, I want to take a moment that all of us think about that, because I know the world's just in a tough place right now. So I want to make sure that we take time to say a prayer for those out there. So if you guys would join me in a quick prayer for everybody in your life and in the lives of people that you know, and let's take a minute to actually say a prayer for everyone. So in the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us of our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost. Amen. All right. Thank you guys so much. So, as always, we're here. We want to have some fun. We want to have some fun conversations. However, I think it's important to say a prayer for those people that are on your hearts and minds. Everybody needs them, and like I said, the world's kind of a crazy place right now. So nothing wrong with saying some prayers for the people that we care about. And I think it's important. I think it's really important. But all of that being said, man, there's just a lot. There's just some fun conversations happening right now. So Clair Obscur Expedition 33 got revoked from the Indie Game Awards for using generative AI. And I find the framing around the whole generative AI in video games really interesting, because if you read a lot of the headlines and you see a lot of the outrage online. Oh, and I got my little wireless mouse going, by the way. The last two streams I didn't have it and I had to use my left hand. Now my left hand can drink beer, which is what my left hand usually does. My left hand can drink beer and not worry about the mouse, and my right hand can control the mouse. Look at that. But the conversation around generative AI is interesting in a lot of fronts. One, there are a lot of people out there trying to spin certain things in certain ways that are just not true. And I find that interesting. Then on top of that, apparently it doesn't matter a whole lot, because people have spent a lot of money on games that have the AI tag on them on Steam. We're going to pull that up. And then there's something that really concerns me that I think a lot of parents are going to buy because of rising prices, and I don't like it, but it's an AI video game. But man, AI is just dominating the conversation. But it's got a camera on it that watches the family and plays games and stuff like that, and that kind of terrifies the hell out of me. And then apparently the industry is begging for Grand Theft Auto 6 to raise their prices. The industry wants Grand Theft Auto 6 to raise their prices. Why? Because they think it's going to give every game out there carte blanche to raise their prices. And I don't know if people know this. The economy is not in a good place right now. It doesn't matter how expensive you make a game. People are not going to buy it. Now, you might be able to make up for it with the people who still will. But at this point, like, I was even kind of like, well, maybe I'll get GTA 6. Now I'm just like, because I'd have to go out and buy a console and I supposedly it'll work on an Xbox Series S, which I have, which I was gifted. Yeah, people really want this. So I've been playing with Warhammer 40K card game that is free to play. There you go. Ooh, Warhammer 40K, yeah. Economy has been sagging for about 3 years or so. It's been sagging for a lot longer than that. So, but we'll get into all of this. So, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for my crappy camera and the settings. I will adjust the settings, but let's get into tonight's first story, which is over here on Insider Gaming. We have the Indie Game Awards disqualifies Clair Obscur Expedition 33 due to Gen AI usage. So this is on December 20th. This is a couple days ago. I want to see how he frames this. This is Mike Straw. I want to see how he frames this whole article here, because when you read that, you're just like, oh my goodness. Because a lot of people will just read the headline and they'll be like, but the whole game was made with AI. No, it was literally like pieces of like blowing paper on the ground and just crap that the animator, like at the time, they were like, okay, we're just going to use AI. It's going to generate it. It's just going to do blowing paper on the ground as just garbage and junk blowing around. And so we can get on to the more important stuff. But we're going to see how they frame this argument. Let's get into this, which, by the way, if you guys have not played Clair Obscur Expedition 33, that is probably the best game that I have played in a very, very long time. Me personally, I don't think I've played a game that's been that impactful to me in over 20 years. I am telling you guys right now, it's absolutely a must play. It is a must play. I freaking love this game. So let's get into this. So the Indie Game Awards. This is the Indie Game Awards. A lot of people don't even know that these exist. I've seen them before here and there, but I kind of discount them because a lot of the games that they choose, it's like, wow, they don't even choose some of the biggest. These people are very much, we're just not going to choose the biggest games of the year. That I've seen in the past. Maybe they're different now, but I don't know. So the Indie Game Awards took place on December 18th, and as many could assume, Clair Obscur Expedition 33 took home the awards for Game of the Year and Debut Game. However, things have changed, and the Indie Game Awards are making a big decision to strip Clair Obscur and the developer Sandfall Interactive of their awards over the use of generative AI in the game. In the announcement made on Saturday afternoon, 6-1 Indie, the creators of the show, said that its removal comes after the discovery, after voting was done and the show was recorded. Okay, so the Indie Game Awards had a hard stance to the use of generative AI through the nomination process and during the ceremony itself. Okay, the statement reads, when it was submitted for consideration, representatives of Sandfall Interactive agreed that no Gen AI was used in the development of Clair Obscur Expedition 33. Now, this is really important here because a lot of people are going, well, they're just being absolutely insane. And it's really, really interesting. By the way, Jonathan Grant, thank you so much for joining the stream, dude. I appreciate you being here. But one of the things that people need to understand is that if they did not disclose that it was used for placeholder assets, now at the time of release of Expedition 33, they had placeholder assets that were made from generative AI that made it into the game, but in like the first patch or two, they were patched out. Because it just got overlooked, but they were not anything critical to the actual game itself. It wasn't character models. It was literally just placeholder stuff that just put crap on the ground. So, and it says here, in light of Sandfall Interactive confirming the use of Gen AI on the day the Indie Game Awards 2025 premiere, this does disqualify Clair Obscur Expedition 33 from its nomination. And I think if they've got a hardline stance that says, period, end of story, your game can't have any of it in it, I think that if that's their rules and Sandfall, now I don't know if Sandfall has spoken on this, but if I'm not, I had talked with a buddy of mine about this and we were kind of going back and forth, and even he was like, dude, the AI tag has been on the game on Steam since its release. So he's like, this seems like a bunch of BS. But if these guys are taking the studio at their word, that's a different story. So 6-1 Indy ended by thanking the community for being patient and providing feedback on the situation. The organizational team behind the ceremony is a small crew with big ambitions. The Indie Game Awards can only grow with your help and support, they said. We already can't wait for the 2026 ceremony. Okay, with Clair Obscure's Expedition 30. With Clair Obscure's disqualification, the award will now go to runner-ups. This means the award for debut game goes to Sorry We're Closed, while Game of the Year now goes to Blueprints. Okay. What do you think of Clair Obscure Expedition 33 being disqualified, having their award stripped at the Indie Game Awards due to generative AI? Here's where I'm at. And I apologize for my camera. I don't know. I do not know what's going on. I need to fix it. It's never done this before. Here's where I'm at. If Sandfall Interactive said, no, we didn't have any Gen AI in the game, and as of right now, supposedly they don't, but on the game's release, they did, or they used Gen AI for placeholder assets and stuff like that, and these guys have a hardline stance against it, I think that these Indie Game Awards are correct. If they have a rule, you don't bend the rules just because a game is popular. Right? And I think that that's an important conversation to have. It's like, look, they get to set the rules. If Sandfall didn't have, or if Sandfall didn't disclose that they use Gen AI, then you know what? They don't need to get the awards. However, there's a larger conversation here that I think is really interesting because it seems that a lot of people are trying to absolutely lie about what these game studios are doing. In a lot of cases, and you've seen this throughout the years, as Unreal Engine became larger and larger and larger, and more people were starting to use Unreal Engine, a lot of the assets that were pre-generated that you could pay for in these games would be used in video games. And a lot of people would go online and they would share their bitch and stitch about how, well, these developers are just lazy. They're just using the paid for assets that already come in Unreal Engine, and they're not actually developing the game. You would hear those arguments, right? And you would hear, and you've heard a lot of arguments like that through the years. And one of the things that is really important to understand is if, all of the principal tasks are being taken, the character creation's done by a human, music's done by a human, voice acting's done by a human, the world creation is done by a human, that's fine. But if you're going to have like a Gen AI, make a billboard for you, or make a piece of paper on the ground, or do something of that nature to free up more of your time so you can go and you can work on other parts of the game, I don't necessarily think that that's necessarily a bad thing, because people have been doing that with Unreal Engine and other game engines for years. There have been pre-built-in assets that were just a part that you could literally just use and throw on the ground. And again, whenever those were discovered and found, a lot of people online, I would imagine the same people, are going, well, your developers are just lazy, so on and so forth. What I don't want to happen is for people to lose their objectivity and go, okay, when we're talking about how much of the game was made with generative AI, what are we talking about? Were the characters done that way? Were levels done that way? Were bosses done that way? All of this stuff, because that does matter. But when it's like, no, we had some trash blowing on the ground, or we used Gen AI to make a flower, I don't care, because a lot of that in the past was already pre-generated assets that were in these engines that you could just plop in. And developers in the past have been called out on it. I do, however, think that if you are using generative AI because people are up in arms about it, you've got to disclose that. And if for some reason these guys are correct that, and it sounds like they are, that Sandfall didn't disclose that they used it for some just placeholder assets and texturing and stuff like that, or was it textures? I can't remember if it was actually textures. But then I think that Sandfall, hey, does your game have generative AI? And they go, no, it doesn't. Now, at the time when they were approached about these awards, they could have already patched all of that out, which means at the time, probably didn't have any of those generative AI assets in it. But when the game was released and during the development of the game, they did use some placeholder assets that were generative AI. That's important, especially if this is their rules. If they make the rules, if the Indie Game Awards say you can't use it in any part of your development process to be considered for the awards that we're giving away, then absolutely, they make the rules. It's their award show. They get to do what they want to do. Why on God's green earth are people throwing a fit over this? Well, most people are throwing a fit over this because they're trying to say that Sandfall Interactive used AI to create their entire game, which is a lie. And you can see this discussion. You can see it, especially, I just did a video the other day. Nobody freaking saw it. My thumbnail sucked for it. Nobody wants to click on the video. You should go watch it. Where the Warhorse Studio, the guys who did Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, he comes out and defends Larian Studios, or Larian, for them talking about it. And then obviously this whole conversation just snowballs with a bunch of other devs. But all of these developers are coming out and saying, look, these tools are there. These tools are there. Everybody's experimenting with them right now. Everybody's using them right now. We need to figure out what they can do, what they can't do. Are they beneficial to our company? Are they not beneficial to our company? That's what heads of studios and game development companies are saying. Online discourse is saying they're firing tens of people. They're getting rid of all of the people. All of these games are AI slop and this, that, and the other thing. And it's nobody is listening. And it feels like the same conversation that happened around Photoshop years ago. Do you guys remember how outraged people were around Photoshop? I mean, especially in the marketing world, especially in digital marketing. My goodness, Lord, everybody was so mad about Photoshop. And that's one of the things that I think a lot of people need to pay attention to is, are you arguing for the factual evidence placed in front of you, or are you arguing for a point that was never made? None of these development studios, as far as I know, for the ones that we're talking about here, the ones that I've specifically mentioned, Warhorse Studios, Larian, who did Baldur's Gate 3, and Sandfall Interactive, none of these studios are using it to create whole assets that they're going to ship. Now, one could say Call of Duty got caught for trying to do that. A lot of games have been caught for trying to do that. A lot of companies have been caught for trying to do that. But for people that are just like, no, it's just this small little tedious crap that we don't want to work on because we want to work on the bigger stuff and then we'll come back to it later and clean it up. That's fine. They've always done that. But if you're going to ship out your entire game to this generative AI stuff, one, I think it's going to be very noticeable to a lot of people. And two, I think that you're going to lose a lot of good faith because a lot of people don't like it. We want games made by people for people, right? We don't want games made by computers for people because computers don't understand people. Computers, we'd like to think that they do. And some of these people who are now dating AIs think that it understands them. And that's a whole different thing. But again, we need to take a look at what these studios are doing and how they're doing it in depth. We can't just make up our own facts and say that we're correct. That's not the way to do this. That's not an honest conversation. I played Expedition 33 within its few weeks, and guess what? The stuff that they said was used for generative AI, I didn't even notice. It was literally newspapers blowing on the ground was one of them, and there was a couple. I played that game. That is the best experience I've ever had. They worked their asses off on that game. And I'm telling you, it's one of the best gaming experiences out there. And that is something that I think a lot of people really need to take a deeper look at in the conversations that they're having. It's part of the reason that I left Twitter and I left X, because that website is specifically designed to get everybody whipped up into a frenzy, whipped up into this online discourse, and almost none of it is factual. All of it is based off of emotional arguments, and when you start diving down into it and you start listening to people, you're not, because the only reason you're on Twitter and the only reason you're on X, or Twix, as I like to call it here, as some of my chat have called it, the only reason you're on Twix is to react and shout at somebody. When you remove your ability to do that quick reaction and you read articles and you go and you watch interviews and you're not there to react, you're there to listen, it will change your perspective. I can say that from what I have seen, these companies have not wholesale thrown like all of their development to Gen AI. They used it for a couple of placeholders to save themselves some time. And those placeholders used to be pre-developed by Unreal Engine or whatever engine or something else that they were using. Game companies in the past have been caught for doing this. And honestly, it's the same thing. But I think because generative AI is such a hot button topic right now, people are trying to twist the facts to fit more of a narrative. But that's just what I have to say. And so now I ask you guys, what say you, chat? What say you? It looks like I have a lot to catch up on. Scrolling back up here, they are just mad Expedition won so many awards. That could be part of it. That could be part of it. That's a big part of the conversation, God of Plague. Tianta, the light wind tossed debris is what you're saying. The light wind tossed debris, and the debris was generative AI. It was newspaper. Jonathan Grant says, howdy, man. Agreed with everything you said about Naughty Dog. Dude, Naughty Dog is falling. You know what bothered me the most about that entire thing that I read is it's two things. One, they're 5 years into developing a game, and they don't even have an internal demo for Sony to see. And two, Neil Druckmann is out there saying it's their most expensive game that they've ever done. And I'm just like, man, it sounds like Sony has to be pissed when Neil Druckmann gets out there and says it's the most expensive game they've ever done. And Sony is like, if it's the most expensive game you've ever done, where the hell is our demo? What are you spending your money on? That was just absolutely wild to me. Absolutely wild. Insane. My dog must be AI. It puts crap on the ground too. No award for you, Tuck. Oh my God. Oh, we can't wait for the 2026 award where we will have to use 30% more AI. Yeah, probably. No kings, no wigs. Oh, shut up. The hedge. Oh my gosh. Yeah, they used to call them asset flips. Exactly. They used to call them asset flips. Thank you. Thank you, God of Plague. You're 100% right. Absolutely. Jonathan Grant, I don't think AI should be used for art, but I do think it can potentially make coding games a lot quicker and easier. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because, and people can kind of tell up to a point when art has been made by a person. And here's the deal. It's the amount of mistakes and the type of mistakes in the art. AI doesn't make mistakes in the same way that human beings do, and that's very noticeable to a human being. It's like the uncanny valley, but it's like, wait a minute. Okay, nobody would like make a 9-fingered hand. Some people have accidentally done 6-finger hands and then done disproportionate fingers, but nobody does 9-finger hands. Again, it's the way that we can kind of pick up that these mistakes and I think once people figure out how to tell the AI to research the most common mistakes made by human beings and program those mistakes around. So there is, let me go back to music. So I was a musician for a lot of years. There is a program for drums. It's a digital drum catalog, and you can use it, and you can literally go in. And I think it's called Is it called Drumagog? Is it Drumagog? I don't remember, but there is a paid program that you can use for drums. This is wild. You could go in, and it had preset timing mistakes that actual drummers would make to make the song sound more natural. And in your song that you are producing with no live drummer in the room, you could go in and listen and say, I want this mistake here, I want this mistake here, I want this mistake here, I want this mistake here. And people would not be able to tell if it was a drummer. And not only that, you could also put strike mistakes. So like, a strike comes down, the stick taps the drum head. You could literally program in striking mistakes so the drum sound was just a little bit off because it sounds more natural. That's been around for over a decade. It's wild to think what computer programming has been around that a lot of people aren't, now starting to realize is out there. It's absolutely insane. So yeah, Merry Royce Smith. No, Merry Christmas. Don't do that. Royce has left the Twix. Good for you, good sir. I just got tired of it. I like Baldur's Gate 3. Got a plague. Says I like Baldur's Gate 3, except Act 2, 1 played an evil tiefling David Bowie bard. What the okay. What's going on, Brian Sanchez? It's good to see you. Jonathan Grant, I wish when games... I miss. Okay, I see what you did. I miss when games only took 2 to 4 years to get out. And here's my thing, and it's very, very, very evident. The reason that games are taking much longer is because it's not necessarily the graphical fidelity, but it is the detail that they're putting in the games. They are over detailing games to a point that a lot of people might look at it and go, oh, this looks really pretty. But at the end of the day, a lot of gamers don't care. A lot of gamers don't freaking care about how detailed it is. Can I see all of the, can I see all of the stitches in this guy's jacket? Most people don't care about that. They're not even going to notice it. So what I think they need to do is, if they really want to stay chasing this stupid graphical fidelity, they need to stop spending the amount of time on just excessive details, because a lot of people they're just not there with it. I don't care about it. I play a lot of games. Dude, I play games on my Xbox, the original one, the OG Xbox, upstairs, and I plug an adapter in. It's an HDMI adapter, and it blows up this like 480p game, or maybe it was 720 back then. I don't remember what its native was, but it blows up like my Need for Speed Underground games. I love Need for Speed Underground still to this day. I love Need for Speed Undergrounds 1 and 2. And those games, they don't look good on the 55-inch TV that I have upstairs. I don't care. I usually don't knock a game for its graphical fidelity. So yeah, Neil Druckmann is a lying POS. Wow, his game is gonna suck. We did not forget TLO 2. TLO 2 failed in the story aspects. My buddy and I went through it on this channel. We did a review on this channel from years and years ago. You guys can go back and find it. Our quality was not to where this is now, even though my camera quality tonight is bad. I need to figure that out. That's really bad. I don't like that. But, and we basically said that the voice acting, the audio design, the visual design, the gameplay itself, most of that stuff was anywhere from an 8 out of 10. You know what really fell apart? The writing and the story of that game was so atrociously bad. It's hard to overlook. The Last of Us 2 was so atrociously bad that it's you can't even enjoy the rest of the game. It's just its pacing is terrible. Its writing is terrible. It's nihilistic. It's just the story itself is incongruous. There are moments that are lack importance. It's not good. It's not good. We call him Nine Fingers, and he is glorious. Oh man, down to 1969. We'll get into the next story here. This one's going to blow your mind. Critical Drinker has a video out where the old Tomb Raider games are coming back, and the original devs are using 4K to clean up some of the lines, but still using the same platform. That'd be interesting. That'd be interesting for Tomb Raider fans. For those of you who know me, and you've heard me say this many times, and I just never been into it since I was a kid. I don't play games with female leads. I'm a dude. This just how I be. I don't play games with female leads. That's just how I am. I am a dude. I didn't play with Barbies when I was a kid. I played with action figures. I didn't play with, the way I say it is I didn't play with Barbies when I was a boy, and I don't play with female avatars now that I'm a man. It's always just been this thing in my head. And so for those people who are fans of Tomb Raider, I'm happy for you. I'm probably not going to check it out. For me to play a game with a female lead character, the writing would have to be so unbelievable. The reason I got away with it at Expedition 33 is because it let me play as the dude characters. Otherwise, if they forced me to play and they did force me to play as like Mael in a couple of fights and stuff. But yeah, that's just how I am. That's just my thing. It's just my comfort zone. And that's where I'm at. So that's where I'm at. All right. So the next story up tonight. Oh, it's even brighter. Oh, and did that fix? Nope. It's still got that crazy screen thing going on. So over here on Tech for Gamers, this is interesting. Everybody hates AI, but gamers are spending millions, hundreds of millions of dollars on these games. All right. So from December 2022, from today, games with generative AI labels have made over $660 million on Steam. This is interesting. All right, so the use of generative AI has become a new normal in game development. Everyone has their opinions on it, but the fact is that the technology is here to stay as more studios adopt it. We've also come across a very interesting stat. Why is it doing that? A very interesting stat. About 8% of the games on Steam have disclosed generative AI use, but more importantly, those titles have made a massive $660 million on Steam to date, suggesting the general audience doesn't care that much. I've said this for years. The people who care about generative AI are online. They're guys like us. They're the people we're in the know. We are not the norm, right? We are not the average person buying a video game. We're here, we're online, we're talking about it, we know what's going on. We are cut above the rest. And the fact of the matter is them's just the breaks. Okay? But most people don't care about how the cake is made. They just want to eat the cake. Them's the rules. Why it matters, a recent survey has revealed that 63% of gamers have negative views about Gen AI. Well, 63% of gamers that were surveyed. That's very important. However, this new data, which are going to be online people probably, okay. However, this new data suggests that it isn't a big deal. It isn't as big of a deal as it may seem. According to data from Totally Human Media, there is a total of 10,258 titles disclosed with AI use. Most of those are absolute dog water trash. Guaranteed, because Steam just kind of allows anything on their platform. However, they're a meritocracy, so if you put out something that's good, you'll probably make some money. Out of the 10,258 titles, 12 have grossed 8 figures, 33 have grossed 7 figures. My gosh. And 170 made 6 figures, while the rest are below that. The list doesn't count Arc Raiders, as the data was compiled before it's released, but since these other games have also revealed a bit of AI usage, including Battlefield 6, which recently came under fire. See, there it is again. The data cites the areas where Gen AI was majorly used included in game art, followed by voiceover, pre-production, localization, and other market-related things. But some major titles are now using it and will use it in the future. So this graph here says use of Gen AI. So we've got in-game art, voiceover dialogue, pre-production. Pre-production's a big one. Marketing and promotion. If you're going to use AI for marketing and promotion, I don't know what that means. Translation, I mean, that could be important. Translation could be important. I mean, I would say you still need to have a translator on staff to verify what the translations are. Upscaling and technical, runtime gen systems, and then other uses. Other uses could just be anything. Okay. Multiple reasons have been listed as to why studios use it, like budget constraints, faster prototyping, improved quality. Improved quality, no, that's always going to come from humans. By improved quality. So if AI where it is right now, not in 5 or 10 years, because in 5 or 10 years it's probably going to be way better. But if right now it's improving your quality, you need to fire a lot of people. I'm just going to be real with you. If improved quality is coming from AI for you guys, you need to fire like a lot of your staff. You made poor hiring decisions. Okay, so while people have extreme views about it, it seems they aren't much bothered in the grand scheme of things. Of course not. Of course not. What are your thoughts? This is over on Tech for Gamers about the $660 million that have been purchased from gamers. So let's go back here. Let's turn the high beams off. My gosh, I wish websites wouldn't do that. They need to turn their high beams off. But again, it seems that everybody talking about generative AI and what's going on in it, the larger population and a lot of people, they're still buying these games. They're still purchasing games that have the generative AI in it, whether it's from pre-production to art models and character designs and things of that nature. It seems that a lot of money, I mean, we're almost $750 million made by purchasing games that have generative AI in the process somewhere. Now, again, it gave a wide list of processes. Where that stuff is, I don't know. But again, I've said this for years when this conversation started getting started in a lot of the indie circles that I talked with indie comic book creators, indie writers, indie movie producers. The vast majority of your customer base is not going to care. Of the customer base is not going to care. Most people are not tuned into this. Most people don't even know what AI is. Most people think that AI is the Google search engine. That's AI. So when AI was used in the development of this game, and I guarantee a vast majority of people are like, oh, so they just used Google search AI to find stuff. I'm sorry. Informed customers are just not a thing in today's day and age. How many angry Karens do you see out there? They're like, well, I purchased this. And the fact of the matter is the Karens are uninformed consumers. They're uninformed customers, just like most people are. And most people are not going to stand on principle when it comes to purchasing something. Now, I've always said this: if AI is being used to get rid of people, I don't really want to purchase a game where someone lost their job to a computer. I don't like that because I don't like where that goes in the future. But if AI is being used to assist a person in the time-consuming, tedious tasks of their day, and the company is still hiring more people, like what what Larian Studios is doing, not Warhorse, Larian, I apologize. What Larian Studios is doing, they're letting their people decide whether or not they can use certain AIs in their day-to-day work, and they're also hiring more people. Why would I have a problem with that? You're letting them use a tool that's going to let them get through their work more quickly throughout the day. My goodness Lord, I would say that's probably a good thing. I would think. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. But again, I think that's probably a good thing. However, most people aren't going to look at that. Most people, well, not most. The people who pay attention to this are going to say AI bad because AI bad for no other reason than just AI bad. They cannot properly articulate the different categories that AI can be used, how it can be used, the ethical uses of it versus the non-ethical uses of it. And we're talking about ethical economic uses. They're not going to have a lot of people online are not going to have those discussions. Again, in the places that they're having these discussions are places like Twitter, places like X. You're not there to have a discussion. You're there to react. You're there to shout. You're there to get angry. You're there to do the one-liner, right? That's where a lot of these discussions are being had. And it's insane. Anytime you see people trying to have a discussion on Twitter, they get absolutely drowned out by the noise. People pay attention more to the reactions than the actual discussion being had. It's very rare in the places online where these discussions are happening. There's actually a discussion to be had. You usually get a person who's like, here are my points. Here's they're laid out. It's a couple paragraphs. Nobody reads the paragraphs. They just go in and they try to do their one-liner and get a bunch of likes and stuff like that. And I think that as time goes on, I about ripped my headphones out of my head. I think as time goes on, we're just going to keep seeing the same cycle, right? Again, it's why I got off Twitter. That website is horrible for discussions. And you know what? I can sit here with my chat on stream right now, and I can have a discussion with you guys. I know that there's a time delay, and I can talk with you and actually hear your thoughts and respond to you guys. And sometimes people want to fight. I'll fight. I'll fight here. That's fine. But you know what? It's different. And the AI conversation online right now is being wholly devolved into internet rage bait reactions. With all of that being said, what say you, chat? What are you guys up to? Oh my goodness. I have to scroll. You guys have been going off tonight, which I appreciate everybody in the chat. Thank you so much. I scrolled too far, didn't it? Did I not? No, I did not. Oh, yes, I did scroll. I scrolled way too far. Way too far. God of Plague says, I'll play a pixel art game if it's good. I will too, if it's good. Pixel art does kind of turn me off because I'm not big into pixel art. I do like my 3D style games. That's always good. I think I read that one already. I enjoy real-time strategy style games more than games like Tomb Raider, COD, Doom, and the like. Give me the old school RPG or RTS systems. There you go. I've never been a real-time strategy guy. I've tried a few of them in the past. It's not my jam. I really like my open world action adventures. I'm going through The Witcher 3 right now. Never played The Witcher 3 because I was having kids during that time period and we were trying not to like lose our house and stuff like that. So I missed a lot of games between like 2012 to like now. And even now, there's just not a lot of games I'm looking forward to. Jonathan Grant says, look at the jump from PS1 to PS2 and PS3 to PS4. Games that came out now look like they could have been released for the PS4. Death Stranding 2 feels like the only significant leap so far. I've not played Death Stranding 2. I've heard if you're a Kojima fan, you like it, but I've not heard anything enticing enough about that game. When people make the jokes that it's FedEx Simulator, this is my ignorance maybe, but that's just what I've heard. God of Plagues, Stellaris doesn't surprise me. However, for what Paradox charges for DLC, come on. I think it's part of a conversation that I don't. AI translation is kind of jank usually. Well, that's why you need to have somebody verify it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Didn't you have a video game made about the bloated amounts of people they have in making some of the titles out there in gaming? There was something like that. Yeah, that rings a bell. God of Plague, honestly, I don't care about AI in my games much. A lot of my playlist for music is AI music made from my lyrics. Oh, that's it. So you're just like plugging in your own lyrics and then just telling AI that's funny. So you're literally personalizing your music. That's interesting. Leo99 says, don't fire them. Make them train the guy that actually works how to use prompts, then let them go. Interesting. That's probably what they're doing. There are business news articles out there saying AI will replace nearly 40% of the white collar workforce in the near future. If it's only 40%, I would be surprised. Maji Chan says, hey, I love AI spell check. I hate AI reading my shit and selling it to others, right? When AI does something for me, I like it. When AI does something to me, I don't like it. Is that what I just read? Oh, goodness. Jane Schultz. Yes, because screaming into the void is the best course of action. Yeah, that's how I feel about Twitter. It's just screaming into the void at this point. It's just ridiculous. What are your thoughts on cordless headphones for gaming? Get a good one. If you want to get a Bluetooth headset, get a good one. Spend some money. The SteelSeries Arctis 9. They're expensive as hell, but I have heard absolutely. Again, you get what you pay for. So if you're gonna go wireless and Bluetooth, you're gonna get what you pay for. So spend some money on it. Merry Christmas, Roland T. Drongs. It's good to see you. All right. Let's go. Do we have high beams on this next article? Let's see. No, we don't. Oh, thank you goodness. This one worries me a little bit. Oh, this one worries me. Strap in, chat. So over here on gamesindustry.biz, meet Next Playground, the AI power hit console to sell over 1 million units by 2026. This one's weird. This gets weird. And it gets invasive into home privacy, because I kind of briefly read this, and that's when I actually decided we were going to go. So, chat, pay attention. And if you have parents out there, if they're parents with children, show this article to them. Okay, the Next Team CEO and co-founder David Lee and President Thomas Kang talk about serving the family audience, making game hardware accessible, and much more. That's a tricky thing, okay? There's no such thing as an overnight success, okay? Many of us have only recently heard of the Next Playground console thanks to its recent Blockbuster Friday sales, but its creators, Next Team, has been around for 8 years. Launched in December 2023, the hardware comprises an AI-powered camera that tracks user movements, allowing the player to interact with family-focused collection of games. This is what worries me right now, and comprises an AI-powered camera that tracks user movements. Everybody remember the Xbox Kinect? And how everybody said, we do not want to put a camera directly linked to a corporation in our living room to watch us. And now they're targeting families. And they are going to be using AI to collect the data of children. This is something I do not like. I won't even purchase a smart TV, because most TVs are smart TVs now, that have any version of a microphone on them where you can speak to them, because those microphones are always on. Amazon Fire TVs are some of them. Samsung has them. There's a bunch. So far, everything that I can tell, the Roku TVs, the cheap Roku TVs that are out there, don't have the... This is bad. When you have an AI-powered camera that's going to track user movements, notice how it says user, and they're targeting families. So it's going to track the family movements, allowing players to interact with its family-focused collection of games. I don't like cameras watching the family. I just that creeps me out. Okay, it's only available in the U.S. Canada right now. In 2023, the Next Team shipped out 5,000 units, then sold 150,000 the following year, being stocked in the U.S. retailers like Walmart, Target, and Best Buy. Thanks to huge sales in 2025, 653,000 consoles and counting, the company is closing in on 800,000 units sold to date and expects this figure to hit 1 million in the first half of 2026. Although right now the console is very hard to come by due to such high demand. This is not good. Okay, but as noted earlier, it's taken the company some time to get to where it is today. Nexteam was founded back in 2017 by a group of Apple veterans. Oh, that explains it. Led by David Lee, who joined the iPhone maker after its first startup online spreadsheet service, Edit Grid, was acquired in 2008. The company initially focused on AI-powered basketball training app Home Court, which Apple invited Nexteam to showcase on stage. The Apple launch, Home Court, viral, COVID-19 pandemic, blah, 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 company created collection, okay, blah, 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 whatever. Okay. This was a hit in Asian markets, millions of downloads, hundreds of millions of plays. Yes, okay. We built something that people wanted, but we built for the wrong platform, co-founder said. That's how Next Playground came along. Connect callback, right? The Next Playground features a lot of older industry DNA. It's an Android box that plays games similar to a concept from 2013. Also centers controller-free motion tracking like Microsoft's now discontinued Kinect. See, I said that. So I don't think I need to go any further with this article because we already... This is not good. When you start accepting these small little things into your house, and we already know how privacy in the modern day and privacy when it comes to cell phones, the websites we visit, data sharing, data collection, and all of this stuff is out there. We know that all of this. What was the company? Was it Amazon that got brought in by Congress because their microphones and their TVs and their like Alexas and stuff are always on and we're storing the data of children, which violates children's privacy, the Children's Privacy Act. Anyway, law on the books, you're not allowed to store the data of children. That is illegal. And the fact of the matter is, if you're going to make it, it's the family-friendly camera that watches your kids while they play games. That should terrify the hell out of a lot of parents. Here's where I get really sad in the conversation. How many parents do you know that hand their children a completely unmonitored, completely unlocked smartphone at the age of like 9 or 10? My children still don't have a smartphone. My oldest is 13. She'll be 14 here very soon. And I heard something very, very interesting a few months back. I can't remember what I was watching. But they said that your child's innocence is protected by you as the parent. And when you give your child a smartphone, you are deciding when their childlike innocence dies. So if you give your child an unlocked, open to the world smartphone at the age of 9, you are robbing your child of their childhood. And I thought with all of the issues that we're seeing, they're doing studies now showing how social media might be impacting children and causing higher rates of depression in children. We obviously have stuff out there showing that, certain adult websites are being accessed by children as young as 8 years old. In fact, most young boys who come across that adult content are 8 years old when they first see it. And these are the concessions that most parents don't even pay attention to. And they look at you as weird. Why don't your kids have a smartphone? Why aren't your kids allowed on social media? Why aren't your kids allowed to play Roblox? Because I pay attention. I see the debilitating, I see how messed up the kids are in the world. I see how messed up your kids are. It's funny. My kids always get complimented for how well behaved they are, how respectful they are. There's a family in town that their children are a mess. And our kids will say, hey, mom, dad, we're going to go over their house and we're going to help them clean their house. It's not because I believe my children are special. It's because I believe that my wife and I looked at the world and we went, we have to keep this away from our kids. We can't make the concession to put a smartphone into their hands. We can't make the concession to just give them access, unadulterated access to the internet. We can't do that. And now they're trying to sell this game console that has an AI camera on it that tracks you, and it's going to normalize to your children the idea of a camera being in your house watching your movements. I do not like this. I'm sorry. Call me a dystopian conspiracy theorist. That does not sit well with me. That they're trying to normalize artificial intelligence, which is it's a program that's designed to learn watching your children, learning their movements, learning how to advertise to them, learning how they speak and what they say. No, absolutely not. Not in my house. And you should tell parents that they should, if you know parents who are buying this thing for their kids, you need to be like, guys, not good. It's watching your kids. Because guess what? I guarantee these cameras are on all the time. If there's power connected to this thing, it's watching your family. It's watching your family. That scares the crap out of me. We really should not be normalizing this stuff. This is like some 1984 crap. Like, this is wild to me. But I don't know. I don't know. Maybe oh, you're just crazy. You're just a conspiracy theorist and you're just sheltering your kids. That's just my take on it. I don't know. But what do you guys think? What do you guys think? What say you, chat? What say you? Scrolling back up. Next playground. I know someone who has bought them. Oh, that's terrifying. Yeah. Better turn that unit to the wall when you're not using it. Yeah, right? Right. Too bad smart TVs do now too. Yeah. Yeah, they do. No, yeah, smart TVs do. That's why, like I said, I look for stuff. And if it, I mean, obviously they could be putting stuff in there, but if it says, oh, it's got voice activation, I will not buy anything with voice activation in my, to the point where like my camera that I have over here is only pointed towards the studio, only ever will be pointed towards the studio. And I shut my microphones and everything down when I'm out of here. Now, if it's going to activate another microphone that could potentially be on another piece of equipment, I don't know, but I do my best to shut all this stuff off when I'm not here because there are some kids games that we have on my wife's computer over there that the kids are allowed to play that we've vetted. And yeah, but this is just something that's absolutely insane. It's absolutely insane to me that people think that this is a good idea. I don't like this idea. It's kind of scary. It really does terrify me. Got a plague. I mean, my watch might as well be the one of those ankle bracelets they stuck on convicts. It can tell you where I am and let you call me. My watch can't do that. My watch just tells time. That's it. I'm analog, baby. My phone could probably do enough of that as it is. I don't need a watch to sit there and like to measure my biometrics while I sleep and to figure out, yeah, I don't like it. I don't like that stuff. It bothers me. It really does. Is this going to go the route of Ring cameras where you're always recorded and you do not have rights? Yeah, probably. Most likely, yeah. Absolutely, Jane Schultz. I think that's exactly where it's going to go. Jana, is it Janae Schultz? Am I saying it wrong? I'm saying your name wrong. I know I'm saying your name wrong. With the shrinking magnetosphere on Earth, with the magnetic reversal happening, won't be long. A major X flare will knock us back into the Stone Age. One can hope. That's going to be bad, though. There are a lot of people not going to make it through that. I had also been called a conspiracy theorist or said I was catastrophizing when I was just following trains of logic. Ah, yes, it's so fun. Royce is analog. He's Gypsy Danger. I love Pacific Rim. I've never seen Pacific Rim. I don't know. I've seen some... I don't know. I just don't know if it's my type of movie. I'm not saying it's bad or anything. I'm just not saying it's my type of movie. There's lots of stuff like that. All right. We got one more, chat. So the games industry really wants GTA 6 to release at obscene prices, so they have an excuse to also raise their prices. Get ready for the high beams. This website's bright. Over here on Tech for Gamers, GTA price hike would be a smart move given the game's hype. Analysts and journalists are the two. Analysts and journalists. I hope that you never have tasty food again. Despite the overwhelming backlash of gamers, the new $80 price standard is slowly being adopted by the AAA gaming industry. Yep. And most of the games that were $80 didn't win in the Game Awards this year because nobody can fucking buy them. You need Dark Reader. Yeah, I put it on dark mode and it chose not to do it on dark mode. Don't judge me. However, GTA 6 is expected to push the mantle even further, a topic that has generated a lot of discussion among gamers and experts so far. A credible analyst in the gaming scene now claims that Take-Two pursuing a price hike for GTA 6 would not only be expected, but also a smart move. Yes, increasing the price of your game so less people can buy it. That's a smart move. Of course it's a smart move. Given the game's massive hype and the alleged unmatched scope. Why it matters, GTA 6 having a higher price tag, such as $100, could slow down sales and the migration of players from the current GTA Online to the next multiplayer mode. It would also cause an uproar among gamers. Yeah, because people want to play it and they can't play it if you charge too much. In an interview with games industry analyst Vic Bassi of the video Game Insights also adds that the price increase is likely on the table, but the $100 threshold might be going too far. We are most likely to see a middle ground between the two extremes. Or if they're smart, they come out and they say, hey, everybody, for the opening weeks, we're going to give you a discount and it's going to be like $60. They would, one, be praised for that, and two, they would probably sell so many freaking copies, they would crash all of the store websites or the store pages on PlayStation and Xbox for days. If they came out with a sale price on release, get your early bird sale price, they would crash it for days. I don't think they're going to. Take-Two's greedy as fuck. For those not in the know, some developers have also agreed on a similar stance in the past, including the original Saints Row developer Chris Stockman. Meanwhile, the Ori director Thomas Mahler argued that anything beyond $69 is simply unacceptable for GTA 6. I agree. I think anything beyond $50 is unacceptable for a game, but, that's just where we're at. Regardless, Vic does acknowledge that Take-Two would have to carefully weigh all the pros and cons since the impact of GTA 6 price tag would be immense. They want it to be $100 because lesser games and games that are absolute dog shit would be given the excuse to sell for $100. That's why they want it to be $100. Okay. A low price could boost player sales and migration over GTA 6 ecosystem, but profits may have to take a hit in the process. The analysts also expect a reverse scenario with a $100 price tag. Do you think Take-Two will pursue a price hike in GTA 6, or would it favor gamers' sentiment with a traditional pricing structure? Let us know. I'm going to be a negative Nancy on this. I think Take-Two is going to raise it. I don't think they're going to do $100. I think they're going to try to do $85 or $90. I think they're going to try to split the difference here. I also think this is absolutely negative for gamers because in the time of economic uncertainty, when a lot of us are trying to decide, how much we're going to have for groceries for the week, how we're going to pay our mortgages, how you're going to pay your rent, how you're going to make your car payment, raising it to all these subscription services that people are on nowadays. I know my wife and I in the last year cut a bunch of them that we got rid of a ton of subscription services. And now my wife with her family and sisters and stuff, they'll use like password sharing for some of the ones that still allow that, just to lessen the blow. But no, them raising the price is going to be negative for gamers. Any time that the customer has to pay more for a service that they've already gotten in the past is unacceptable. There's kind of a natural increase over the course of time, but these arbitrary $20, $30, $40 increases that some of these places are trying to do, that's not natural. That's just greedy. Could GTA 6 make money charging $100? Yes, they can. It's going to be the biggest. It's going to be the biggest game in a generation. It's going to be the biggest. I'm not saying it's going to be the best. It's going to be the biggest. It is absolutely the most hyped right now. The fanfare around it is absolutely insane. Of course, they could get away with charging a massive price for it and still make money. The difference is, are they going to move the amount of copies? Because, and that's where they're going to crunch these numbers. They're going to say, well, if we increase it to $100, we're going to lose 30% in sales. And so that means if we're already going to charge $70, then we're going to make just as much money as if we would have charged $70 anyway. They're going to have these lawyers and or these, their number crunchers, their number people, their accountants. That's the word that I was looking for. I was going to say number monkey, but accountants sound a lot better. They're going to have the number monkeys, accountants, run these numbers and figure out how much they can charge while not losing a certain percentage of the player base. These companies are 1,000% okay cutting out a certain percentage of the player base as long as numbers look good on a spreadsheet. Remember, as long as graph go up, they're fine. They don't care. They don't care. And that is something that I think a lot of people really need to understand here. And what's going to be so bad about this is the reason that analysts in the industry are begging for this is because if GTA 6 comes out and charges $100, people who are making crap games, crap AAA games that get no fanfare are going to say, well, the standard cost, as soon as it comes out for $100, you're going to see games start coming out for $90 and $100. But like, well, the standard cost is just $100 now. It's going to have nothing to do with the quality of GTA 6. It's going to have nothing to do with how big the game is. It's not going to be exclusive to GTA 6. They want something to come out and break through that glass ceiling to make it more palatable to gamers to spend that money. That's why they want it. That's the only reason that they want it. And I'm going to be perfectly honest. I hope that indie and AA developers come out and keep charging $40 and $50 for their game and keep selling millions of copies the way that Hollow Knight, Silksong, Hades 2, Mega Bonk, Schedule 1, Expedition 33, and a bunch of these other games have done. And they eat AAA's lunch because I am so sick of them just extracting dollars out of us for no reason. Now, is GTA going to be worth $100? Maybe, probably. It might be. But is every other game that's going to use GTA as an excuse to charge $100 for their game going to be? No, it's not. Most of them won't. 90% of them will not. It's disgusting they want to do this. They want to extract money from you without giving you a trade. They want to take your money without giving you value for that money. And this is why I absolutely can't stand these people. And this is the only reason that they're like, well, the industry really thinks that GTA needs to charge this much. I don't know. That's just my take on it. What say you, chat? What say you? Are you a conspiracy theorist? If you've been right so many times, right? Right? No, you're a conspiracy factualist. That's the difference. I need a darker. Yeah. Sorry, I have to run. I need to sleep. Have a good week. Hey, don't apologize. Go get sleep. Go get sleep. Have a good one, man. 10 of 1969. That's being dumber than the dirt we walk on to hike a price because the hype is real. If they think they can get away with it, yeah. Nah, early bird sale prices are buy the collector's edition for $200. Oh, yeah. And guess what? And it's going to be online skin. It's not going to be the collector's edition that come with, like, you know, memorabilia from the game. Like steel books and like, oh, you can get the character statue and all this stuff. It's not going to have stuff that they mail to your house and tangible things that you can physically have like they used to do. No. It's going to be a skin or horse armor. Oh my gosh, that's right. Why did you remind me of that? Oh gosh, the horse armor. Ugh. The insanity for a game for console or PC being over 50 is just pure greed. I agree. No, I'm not welcome. I don't want to be welcome. No, you take that back. I don't want to be welcome for being reminded of the horse armor thing. You stop it. I didn't ask. I'm not saying thank you. No, you forcefully reminded me of something. You reminded me against my will. I don't know how to turn that into a crybaby online thing, but I probably... No, I'm not welcome, okay? I refuse that. I don't care. I'm not saying thank you. I'm not doing it. Absolutely not saying thank you for you reminding me of terrible things. And that's just how it be. Ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for my camera. I am going to figure out my camera. I don't like this. I apologize. I didn't know before we started. But thank you all so much for being here. Let's get off the camera. We'll go to the outro screen. Liu, what do you say? Best case scenario, the higher price tags backfire so bad for thinking that they're worth it after GTA. Most games aren't worth 70. Yeah, agreed. Jonathan, what videos do you have in the works? Right now, currently, I'm actually just going to clip a lot of this stream and put those out. As far as video production, I really need to sit down and take a good hard look at how I'm going to produce videos in the future, what I'm going to produce. Right now, we're clipping the stream articles and putting those up because the shorter format is more palatable to a lot of people. And I think tonight we had some good topics. I can probably get 4 videos out of this. And the cool part is I get videos out of this, and I also get to hang out with you guys in the chat and have fun with you guys. And the more of the chat that shows up, the more people start making fun of me, and a lot of people seem to enjoy that. But thank you so much for being here, Jonathan Grant. I really appreciate it, man. Thank you. Are you new? Are you a new subscriber to the channel? So be careful. YouTube sings streamers, right? Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. So says the Tim Allen, the Santa Claus. Hey, that's very true. Very true. Hi, Mother. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for tuning into A Drink with Crazy. And as always, until next time, cheers, everybody.